let's get our kind of preliminary housekeeping stuff going on here. So the way that we do these sessions is everybody shows up on time except me. I might be here a minute earlier, a minute late, but I'll be close. Everybody shows up on time, and then we always come in on video. The only time to not come in on video is if you are driving or if you're walking, like hustling to the place where you're going to sit down. We really want to minimize as much of that as we possibly can. Driving accidents, we want to minimize or eliminate those. Distraction, we want to minimize. I recommend that you just be in your place, your comfortable place, a few minutes before with your journal and a pen, with a big old yummy thing of the healthiest water you can get your hands on, a lot of it. And I recommend, don't worry about this for today, I recommend that you get some cushions to sit on the floor with. And I would aim my camera down, but I don't have pants on. So I'm not going to do that to show you the cushions that I'm sitting on, because I did put on a shirt for all of you. But I recommend, I can do this and not aim it at myself here, I think, as long as I don't drop the camera and have it aiming down and shock everybody. So that right there, that is a Zafu Zabuton, and that is what we use sitting around here, okay? So there's a big wide cushion, and then there is one for under your butt. And the magic of that is that your posture is infinitely more important than those who told you to straighten up your fucking posture so that they would look good as your parents. It's infinitely more important than any of us has any idea. I'm not a fan of chairs, okay? In fact, they make me nervous. I don't know. I just freak out when I think about chairs. No, actually, I don't have any issues with chairs. It's just that I'm not a fan. They are very harmful for your spine, your skeleton, your circulatory system, and your nervous system. And chairs are just not your friend. They're not your friend. They're one of those crazy damn things that got invented along the way. If you've ever seen a picture of someone meditating in full lotus, you know, where they're sitting on the floor and they have their heels up on top of their knees and all that, that's so wonderful, and you don't have to do that. Not necessary whatsoever. If you will sit on the floor with your knees crossed, with your butt preferably 2, 3, 4 inches above the floor. So that's the purpose. The big cushion, all of you is sitting on. The smaller cushion goes under your butt, and it lifts your butt just that little bit, which causes your spine to automatically straighten out and have its natural curves. And when you do this, and your tailbone goes down a smidgen, and your crown goes up a smidgen, it opens your spine, which is the antenna of the universe, which you are. You receive and transmit infinitely mo better, and it supports you being fully present. And as you're going to find, what this course, this program, these sessions, what this is about, you could just say it's about becoming consistently more present than you've ever been. You would be accurate if you were to say that. I joined the program to do what? Get more presence? Something like that. You'll find that everything that you want, everything you could ever desire, everything the real you would ever want to experience comes about from being more present. It's a noble target, and it's completely within you. So we come to the session on time, we come on video, and I only say be off video only if you're in a distract, you're running to the place to sit down or something like that. Then sit down, get on video. Please mute your microphone. I don't mind muting you. It's just sometimes, okay, something's going on, somebody's making a noise and it takes a few more seconds. It's easier if you just mute your microphone. It's also very beneficial that you check to make sure your microphone is working. So when you first come on the session, if you want to come on, say hi, can you guys hear me? And then mute. 1 or 2 programs ago, I made a discovery, and that was sometimes as we get in, weeks pass, people start to really feel friendly and start like getting to know each other and like each other. And the beginning of the session can become an opportunity for chat. Just don't do it. Like, love yourself and love what you're here for. You guys ever want to get together with the Facebook group and chat? Please, yay, as much of that as possible. Enjoy it. You can even talk about me behind my back. I don't care. When you come on session, though, there's no point to come in and start the chitty chat to distract yourself from what's about to happen and from the emotions that might be about to come up and the stuff that might be about to happen. It's best to come on session ready to be present, comfortable temperature, wearing something comfortable, ideally not in a chair with a big old thing of water beside you, having already peed, because I have a tendency to have these sessions go a while sometimes. And then get to breathing. Get to breathing. First recommendation I'm going to make is that if you have not read my book 40 times, anyone in here that hasn't read my book, I'm going to recommend that you read it and make it actually your number 1 priority other than getting rid of your fucking chair. So that you can do this on the floor in a way that supports you the most. I really highly recommend that you come to the session already breathing in the way that is going to support you the most. And so in my book, at the end of chapter 8, there is a link. I will even tell you what the link is. It's breakyourselfhelpaddiction.com/breath. How clever. Since it's about breathing. Listen to me now. Listen to me. You're not going to believe me when I say this unless you've been with me for a long time, and then you're going to really pretend you believe me, but you still might not believe me. If you're new to me and this stuff, you're just not going to believe it when I tell you. There is nothing more important than that you learn how to breathe and practice consistently learning how to consistently breathe the way I teach in that book. It's not some yoga technique. It's not pranayama. It's not some magical breath work like that other thing. No, this is how to breathe the way a calm, healthy human breathes. We have no examples of it around us because everybody is carrying more panic from their childhood, including you. More panic than we have any idea. Y'all hearing me so far? We are carrying more panic in our bodies than any of us have any idea. And everyone around you is carrying more panic in their body than they have any idea, more than you have any idea. But if you think about how outrageously fucking crazy people are sometimes, that's the evidence of the panic that I'm talking about. Now, if the F word bothers you, you should leave the program today. Because I only say it for those who are bothered by it. I'm just doing it for you. If everybody that doesn't have an issue with the F word was to leave, I would never feel to say it again. So, it's damn near a 0% chance that you're going to commit yourself to the breath the way I just suggested. Real close to 0. Am I right, Rena? It's real. It's close to 0. You'll be like, no, Brian, I'm just going to be on sessions hoping for that magical moment when you drop that magical droplet of energy that causes everything to change for me magically. I'm not going to do the shit that will actually make the change. What the fuck? I've been in self-help for 40 years. I'm not about changing and becoming free. I just like the rush of that next, injection. Oh, more self-help. Yeah. If you will go and get a copy of Break Your Self-Help Addiction, $7 or $8 on Amazon, free on my website, or you can anytime send me $50,000 cash and I'll send you a copy from my own box. You can have a copy of that book. I recommend it. I recommend you read it again and again and again. It makes my ego feel very good and important. We'll talk about that in a minute, Rich. Or soon. Chapter 8. At the end, there's a link to the breath videos. If you really want to finally get, if any of you want to get what you came for, take me seriously. Make mastering that breathing your highest priority. So if anyone here who has ever done the breathing, some of you that have been with me for a while, some of you that have been in program after program after program with me, your life getting better and better and better and better and better. If you have ever actually done the breathing, and you can say a genuine word of encouragement, fairly brief, that would encourage these other stubborn motherfuckers on this call who don't even know yet that they're going to resist. If you can say something that would help them. You got something, Tom? I'm going to unmute you, buddy.
I took a relaxation course one time, and the breathing interrupted my breathing, and I breathed badly for many, many years. So I learned this breathing, and I think it takes trauma off the table. It just puts you into this energized state where then you could create from there.
Beautiful. Thank you. What you got, Rich? Whoops. I unmuted you, but I didn't hear you, bud. Mic issue. Okay. Rena, you want to say something?
I think the breathing, I do it at night, and it's the best way to calm down and get out of whatever you're feeling. And I don't realize how shallow I'm breathing until I focus on it.
Beautiful.
So it's amazing.
Okay, thank you, Rena. Now, hang on. I saw a couple more hands. I may invite someone else in. I really want to say this because I love fucking with Rena. I love pissing Rena off by just poking her right in her ribs. And let me tell you, if there was ever anybody who invites some rib poking, it's that Rena. So what she just did was she just gave you the worst possible. There's no good and bad. There's no right and wrong. There's no better and worse. That will make more sense years ago. But she just gave you the worst fucking advice. And she just perfectly articulated why the results that she's gotten with me are as limited as they are. And I love her enough, and I love you enough to just tell it like it is. And I quickly muted her back, so she is pretty much defenseless right now. So check this out. I want you to really hear what Rena just said. Because what Rena just said is, okay, I don't practice this shit like Brian said, but I'll tell you what I found out. At night, if I do it just enough to get out of those bad feelings I don't want, that shit fucking works. Now, she's either... She knows I love her, guys, so don't get offended. She's either dumb enough to actually not know what she just did, or she's actually ready to step into her freedom and admit what she's doing. And it's the second one. Because Rena didn't know until yesterday that she was going to be in this program. She was like, no, I already did that level 5 shit. I don't know. And then she joined yesterday. So listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. The number one habit that the vast majority of people bring when I share the breathing with them is they go, oh, that's nice. Where's the good shit? When does he get to the good shit? I'm going to turn the page where he gets to the good shit. That breathing can't, I've heard pranayama. I know Wim Hof method. I know breathing, blah, 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 fucking blah, blah, blah. Where's the good shit? That's the number one response that people have when I share the breathing with them. The number two response, I now am going to call it the Rena special, or maybe the Rena technique. It's, I'm not going to use that shit to actually become present and change my life at the core and step into my infinite being. But I found out that shit helps me get out of upset, helps me fall asleep at night. So you can use the breath to get yourself out of hell. Love you, Rena. You can, I'm so glad you said what you said. I'm so glad that you and I can communicate like this. Some of these new people are like, is he going to talk like that to me? Because I quit. Rena also has come out and done the 4 days with me. And like, we've gone to the farthest edges of the universe. So with the people that I've gone further like that, I'm way more, I'm going to talk like that to you too. But anyway, this breath will get you out of hell every time. And let's be honest. The majority of us stubborn spiritual fucks, we ain't even letting ourselves think about freedom yet. We're just like, can I temporarily get out of hell? I heard that if I would go and watch an Abraham-Hicks video, I could raise my vibration and I would get out of hell for a moment. So here we are using the breath to get out of hell. And it's the number two response. Hey, you want to see something cool? Watch this. Who here that's been involved with level 5 and Brian for more than 3 months, who here has done a lot of using the breath just to get out of hell? Come on. Come on. I will come after you and raise your hand for you. There you go. Look at this, everybody. All you new people, you see it? You see it? Okay, so there's your proof. Thank you guys for being honest. Are you going to do that in this program too? Oh, yes, you fucking are. Yes, you are. Why are you doing? No, I'm not going to do it in this program. Yes, you are. And maybe you'll also sometimes breathe yourself back home to heaven sometimes. So the way I'm living my work. I don't have a job. I don't have a career like this. I don't consider this really a business or work, but it is. So I decided 9 years ago, no, I didn't. My infinite unlimited being decided that I would be doing what I am for my quote work. Did you hear that? Anybody feel a spark when I said those words? If you didn't, breathe deeper. I'm doing what I am. You have that option. Don't believe what they told you. You have the option to do what you are. Everybody does. It's just that most of us are under so much programming, we can't even begin to envision it. So I'm doing what I am. And so I opted to do it, making money. Samina, I want to offer this to you. Please do yourself a favor. And never, ever, 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 ever take notes while you're on a session, ever under any circumstances. And I'll tell you, there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, because it is the dumbest advice that we were ever given by some of the smartest teachers on this planet. Because hear me now. Some of you just, when I say this, I see people cringing because that take notes got beaten into us, especially us educated fucks. God help us. When you're taking notes on what's being said, what was just said, you can't possibly be fully present to what's being said. And your presence on these sessions, I'm not correcting you, Samina, whatsoever. I hadn't said it till now. And you're doing what we're all supposed to do, what we've all been told to do, right? If you're writing down what was just said, you can't possibly be fully present to what's being said, to what's in front of you now. So who in this group that has been with me for 2 or more programs, who as a rule watches the sessions 2 or more times on replays? Now keep your hand up. If you watch the sessions 2 or more times, usually keep your hand up. Everybody look and pay close attention. Those of you who watch the sessions as a rule, usually 5 or more times, keep your hand up, and everybody else lower your hands. Those of you who often watch the sessions 5 or more times, keep your hand up. Okay, thank you. My highest recommendation to you is don't show up for this course based on the price of the course, how much you paid, how much you invested. Show up for this course based on what your soul tells you of what's available for you in this course. If it's worth showing up for the session, it's worth watching the replay at least once. At least once. Now, I can go back. Everybody stay breathing. Everybody stay totally present here. You will see that I bounce around. You don't have to worry about keeping the thread. That's another reason you don't want to take notes. Like, see, I haven't said the second reason yet. You'll get used to how I bounce around, and it always ends up finishing the circle no matter what. When you show up for the session with absolute total presence and you watch every facial expression, if you're watching the gallery view, you see everybody. And if you're just watching me, that's fine too. You want to see and hear and feel and listen with your eyes, your ears, and your heart and all of your senses. Total presence so that you actually get what's being said. And what's being expressed is much more than what's being said. Second, if you're totally present during the session and you absorb everything and you get it all as much as you possibly can, then when you come back the second time and allow yourself to take notes, you won't get 2 times. You'll get 3, 4, 10, 15, 20 times more out of the session the second times. Now, one of the weird things about me and Level 5 and my work, if I go back through the last 5 or 6 programs that I've done that were multi-week programs, let's just say that I had a program where I had 25 members. I go back and I look at the sessions. Some of the sessions will have 200 or 300 views. But only the 25 in the group saw it. You dig? The stuff that's happening in this group, the stuff that's happening even right now, isn't like anything you've experienced anywhere else. And so your mind's natural chunking, oh, this is like that. This reminds me of that. Oh, I remember that. Multiple listens will help you to get beyond that. Total presence while it's happening will really help you get beyond it. On a related note, one of my terrible jokes, which I will repeat again and again and again and again, is never wait for the good shit. When we come on session, and I come on and I say hi, and your mind is going to say, oh, we're in the preliminaries right now. It's okay. I can tune in a minute when he gets to the good shit. And right now, while I'm talking to you about this, well, he's talking about how he's going to get to the good shit. No, I'm not. Here's what I'm saying to you, Alan. Welcome, by the way, brother. Here's what I'm saying to you. It's all the good shit. Anybody here have kids? Anybody here have older kids? Anybody ever seen a kid? Okay. Those of you that are parents or can relate to being a parent, especially if you have older kids, let me ask you this. If you could go back and do it again, what moment or second in your parenting would you say was unimportant? While you were there, how many minutes did you miss? And we all did. We don't need to feel guilty. We can just forgive and everything's perfect. But you understand my question at all? How many minutes did we miss? Because we didn't realize that moment was everything to that child. I've heard it said that to a child, they spell love T-I-M-E. I would say a child spells love P-R-E-S-E-N-C-E. It's all the good shit. Every instant is the holy, sacred, eternal now. And literally a moment might pass when I'm starting to tell you the beginning of a joke. And in that moment, you kind of tune it out. Well, okay, so it's okay. He's about to get to the good. And you miss the diamond mine that was in the entire course for you because of the way it tied to other things, past, present, and future. Do you kind of hear me? Have you noticed right now that we're all here right now? With many of us waiting for the next moment when he'll get to the good shit. How many of us have heard one or more spiritual teachers talk about how it's always now? How many of us feels like we have some handle on the idea that it's now and it's always now and it's now and there's no past. It's always now and then now. Well, would you let yourself get that it's now and that now is everything, always now? Presence now is it. Every quote mistake you've ever made was a lack of presence on your part. Every stumble you ever had was a lack of presence on your part. Every fuck up, every failure, every mess up, every lost opportunity, all of it was nothing more and nothing less than lack of presence on your part. When? In the holy, perfect now that you missed waiting for the good shit. Aloha, Carmen. But Brian, aren't you going to have 47 success principles for us? No. Haven't you done that before? I am the ultimate one-trick pony. I'm going to be continually reminding you of breath as the doorway to presence. I'm going to be continually reminding you of presence. I'm going to be continually unconditionally loving you. I'm going to be continually reflecting everything you say and think and do back to you. Now here's a technique, though. I do have a technique. You'll be glad to know that. At least you get a couple techniques out of this thing. Here's a technique for you. Ready? No notes. I call this being the dog, and it has to do with presence. Anybody have a dog? Does anybody have a dog? Anybody? Is anybody secretly a dog? Has anyone ever seen a fucking dog? You guys know? Okay, well, I don't know what's up. You thank you. Resisting me here. So imagine a dog in the back of the house. Everybody's away, and this dog loves its owners or its people. It might think it's the owner. Dog's on the bed in the back of the house. The people have been away for hours, and it's about the time of day that the people get back. Picture how the dog is on this little bed or on your bed, and it's looking towards the door like this. I mean, it's already ready, right? And then there's a sound, just the slightest little click. Was that the key in the door? No bullshit. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Virtually everyone. So that dog is literally every wire in its nervous system is focused on what? That sound at the door. Was that the door? Was that the? Is that the key? Is that the key to the door? One more click, and it's fucking lightning. Shwee! To the door. Yes? What if that dog was playing with, I have nothing nearby that would work, darn it, playing with a set of keys in its mouth, jingle, 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 it wouldn't have heard the door, right? But that presence, was that the key in the door? So I call that being the dog. And I come to my life, I come to my kids, come to my partner, I come to these sessions already being the dog. If you've ever watched me do a spell break and you're paying even a smidgen of attention, you gotta be going, how in the fuck is he doing that? You just gotta like, what the fuck? What did he hear? How did he do it? It's because I'm being the dog. A side technique for those of you that like sex, if you just do doggy style every once in a while, it'll help you when you want to practice this. Okay. Just seeing if anybody's, some of you too prim and proper for that. It's okay. Just breathe. You'll be fine. You'll get over it. Be the dog. You got it? So here's one of the tips right now. Here's what you want to do. You want to start being the dog, and you want to find the most amazing picture of a dog at the pinnacle of presence. And put that picture 2 or 3 places around your house. I'm not kidding. Maybe put the words over it. Be the dog. Reminders for yourself. And this leads to the next piece of our orientation here. I'm going to make a short note for myself. All right. So is anybody waiting for the good shit? Be honest. Breathe deep. Okay, a couple of people are thinking right now, yeah, but that chair thing, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that floor sitting because every time I sit on floor. So let me help you with this. If you find the idea of, or the experience of sitting on the floor cross-legged, if you find it physically painful, you couldn't possibly have a better reason to start doing it than that. If you want to, go do a little bit of research later on. Don't write it down now. You're watching the replay, you hit pause, and you go jump over to Google for a minute and search for physical damage from sitting in chairs or adverse health effects from sitting in chairs. Do a little bit of research. You'll see. When you sit in a chair, you're sitting on the biggest veins and arteries in your body, which run through the back of your thighs. What the fuck? Who came up with that? Virtually all chairs are designed by psychopaths. Like, I wonder, do you have to take a psycho test in order to go to work in furniture design? Because the vast, vast, vast majority of chairs, even the better ones, you're sitting in ways that don't really work with the way your spine and your neck operates. You're sitting on your blood vessels instead of on your sit bones and your knees. You don't have the widest base possible. And your circulatory system, your skeletal system, everything suffers. And it creates this tension in your hip flexors where your hips join to your top of your thighs. So when you go to sit on a phone, you say, I can't do it because my legs are tight. It's from sitting in the fucking chair. Get rid of your chairs, ladies and gentlemen. Brian, I don't know if you actually do that shit that you're saying. Well, look, so there's our pyramid sitting space. That's where we do the work. And there is our home theater set up over there. Do you see any fucking chairs? Ain't no chairs. And I'm not going to aim my camera down for already state. It's risky for me even to pick that thing up right now. And some of you are like, well, I'm not going to do that. Okay. You will limit to whatever extent your results from this program by doing less than 100% commitment to the breathing I'm talking about and these other physiological things which support you. Have you noticed you're in a body? Sitting cross-legged on a chair is better than sitting normally on a chair. It is more beneficial for your body or less damaging. Depends on the chair and how it's shaped and whether a lot of chairs, the butt actually is a little bit lower than the knees, which is just like, okay, that's a torture device. Who the fuck came up with that? And most chairs are made that way. You look at your car driver's seat. The butt's lower than the knees. What the fuck were they thinking? I mean, they weren't thinking. So now, this leads to that next thing. Reminders. I'm going to tell you, because I'm right, I'm going to tell you what the universe is. I'm going to give you a different angle of the universe than you may have heard. Breathe deep. Nazi, breathe deep. And what I want to encourage you to do, Nazi, is let your tailbone drop just a little bit and let the very middle of your head be lifted just a little bit. So we're not doing this, and we're not doing this. We're doing this. Straight line. Tailbone to crown. Breathing deep. That is what lets you conduct and receive ideally with the universe, which is your body. Now, the universe, I'm going to offer this to you. What if, we'll do it as a question. What if what I have called the universe, you, Barbara, Linda, V, Rex, aloha, brother. What if what I call the universe, and those of you that have heard me say this 30 times, you might want to hear it for the first time. Okay, Nazi, gotcha. You might want to hear me for the first time. What if what I call the universe is the reflection and the projection of everything I think and believe that I know, the vast majority of which is hidden from me by me in what I call my unconscious or subconscious areas, much of which is tangled up in emotions that I don't want to feel, so I am denying, repressing, hiding, saying I don't have, avoiding, ducking, dodging. And I'm going to ask this question a few times from a few different angles to help you begin to encompass it. And the more, if you're sitting with your spine straight and if you're breathing deeply, you will be able to hear this. And it won't be like, what the fuck did he just say? As much. Are you polished, posh, professionally programmed people? You might want to really hear me. Those of you that are a little more polished and professional, you might want to really hear me. What if the universe, what I call the universe, is actually, including my body, because it's obviously not separate from the universe. What if the universe is the reflection and the projection of everything that I think and believe and know, true or not, real or not, accurate or not? The vast majority of everything that I think and believe and know, hidden from me, I'm completely unaware of it. It's buried and repressed in my unconscious or subconscious or other than conscious areas. Much of that tangled up in emotions that I don't want to feel. In fact, I'm sure they would kill me. So I just breathe just enough to get out of that when it's overwhelming and no more. Right, Rena? Man, that's 98.7% of all self-help and spiritual work right there. Just get me out of hell for a minute. What if what I have perceived to be a universe, despite all the programming and teaching, scientific, religious, otherwise, that I've ever heard about the universe, what if this experience that I call universe, including my body, which is not separate, is all one, what if this universe, what if the whole thing that I have ever experienced is nothing more, nothing less, always and only the reflection and projection of everything I think and believe that I know. All of it. The vast majority of which, 99.99999999999% of which is hidden from me by the only one here, me, in what I call my unconscious or subconscious, much of which is tangled up in emotions, anger, sadness, fear, terror, things that I don't want to feel, things that I'm sure are going to kill me, things that I felt like almost killed me when I was little, feelings I'm never going to feel that again. And I deny and repress and hide and avoid. Everybody check your posture right now. Everybody check your posture right now. I'm okay. Listen, I'm fine. You fucking slouch as much as you want. It'll reflect in every other part of your life. Sit like this. That's fine. Actually, sit like this and just hunch over and completely prevent your diaphragm from moving at all. Don't let any fucking air go through. You'll be like, man, that was another fascinating program I just did. That one with Brian. That was fascinating. I no fucking idea. I don't think anything changed, but. Quick question on the side, which is always at the very center. Are you willing, and I am only asking you this, are you willing at all to consider the possibility? Hey, Christopher, welcome, man. Not seeing you on video yet, but I see you there. Hey, Celine. Are you willing to consider the possibility that no matter how much self-help you've done, no matter how many hours you've put in, no matter how many courses and seminars and programs you've done, are you willing to consider the possibility and accept the possibility that you might actually get what you came for in this one? Not everybody's nodding. And I'm glad. Some of you are fucking honest. I don't blame you because you didn't get it anywhere else. And it was halfway because you created all those other programs to be partial. And it's partly because you showed up with part of you. One more time, I feel this is important to say, so I'm going to say it. Everybody, if you join late, you're going to want to watch every session multiple times, especially every session, and especially the orientation session. If we stop the session right now, which we could, if we stop the session right now and you were to wait 3 days and watch it, I promise you a minimum of 30% of it, you'd be like, I don't remember him saying that. Right, Tina? What if the universe, that which I call the universe, because we love words to label shit so we think we know what it is. What if what I call the universe is the reflection and the projection of everything I think and believe that I know, 99.99999999999% of which is hidden from me by me in what I call the unconscious, subconscious, or other than conscious parts of myself. Much of that tangled up in emotions that I have completely denied, repressed, refused to even acknowledge that it exists. And it's killing me. Of course, it's okay because I can't die. And then I hide from those emotions. I avoid those emotions. I deny those emotions. Sometimes I breathe just enough to get out of the really, really, really painful ones. Back to neutral again without ever actually breathing enough to fully allow myself to admit that I am infinitely resourced because I am the source and I am the one responsible for my entire existence. So I never move fully and passionately into the experiences that I most want, and I say it didn't work. I'm going to come back to this universe thing and the reminders in just a minute. I'm going to say something really radical to some of you that are new. So on occasion, pretty often, someone will say, Ryan, I want to go all the way with you. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I've got a partner. But people hire me. And at this moment, the fee for this is 24 grand, 24,000 bucks. People fly out to Hawaii. They either stay with us or in an Airbnb across the street or next door. They're literally staying with us. And for 4 days and nights, I work with them, spell breaking everything in their entire life, body, mind, history, family. And then following that, I work with them for 3 months on video. So it's a commitment on my part. And it's a commitment on their part, time, energy, money. And I give more than people could ever possibly imagine. Ask those that come out and do it. And the changes that happen are beyond what anybody could ever imagine. And guess what's at the very core and the very root and the very foundational fundamentals of everything that I share with them over and over and over? Rich is giving you a hint. It's breathing the way that I'm sharing with you on those 2 videos at the end of chapter 8, breakyourselfdamnhelpaddiction.com. People pay you $24,000 to help them breathe. What the hell? No, we do a lot more than the breath. It's just that the breath is the most foundational thing. Now, check this out. Nobody wants to join a program that's going to require 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? I could load y'all down with more information. I could load you down with videos and sessions. And if you look at the orientations, I mean, you look at the announcement post in this group, man, there's a lot there. You got way more than you invested for this program in that damn post. I'm not kidding. And those of you that would use it and let yourself get everything that's in there, you'd be like, well, shit, he don't need to do anything else. I just got it. However, I got some amazing bonus stuff that I usually during these programs we'll be on, and I'll remember something. Hey, if we share that video, it'll help you. You'll get way more out of it. And I have some sessions and program pieces where I've gone deeper into this breath thing. In fact, the program I just finished, Level 5 Liberation 3.0, one of the sessions was really about going deeper into the breath. And oh my God, I mean, just mind-boggling. There's nothing like it on the planet. I can help you. But the thing is that honestly, if you're not going to go to the end of chapter 8 and click the damn link and watch those 2 short videos, if you're not going to do that, you're just not going to get everything out of this program. The people that come sit on the floor with me for 4 days, I tell them, listen, I can literally help you undo basically every issue in your entire life. In 4 days, we can do it because we can get to the roots of the roots of the roots, and the rest, you'll have such incredible tools when you get home that if you apply them, and isn't that the catch? If you apply them, isn't that the catch? If you apply them, isn't that the catch? If you apply them, isn't that I'm making this the simplest thing in the world for you. If you will breathe the way that I teach, even though you think I'm fucking crazy for saying it, go search on YouTube for testimonials for Brian Ridgway and Level 5. And look at some of the outrageously miraculous shit that has happened. And those of you that have worked with me extensively, and right now you're not experiencing everything that you want, isn't it true that you know beyond the shadow of a doubt, if you would just apply yourself a little bit more to that breathing, just a little bit more, all those tools would turn on even more for you? Isn't that true? That's the part I'm unable to do for you. All right. So I'm really on what's going to be after the breath. This is going to be the key to it's presence. Presence. Because when you're present, you ain't got no problems. That means right now, if you could list your problems, you're not fully present. That's some trite bullshit right there, Brian. No, it isn't. It's simple truth. And you can become present and actually begin to choose to stay present. And you can expand it every day. You can expand it every minute. So if the universe, if we accept the possibility that the universe is the reflection and the projection of light, reflecting and projecting what I think and believe that I know about everything. Wars and bombs and titties and cows and grass and drugs and suicide and aging and wars and criminality and jerk narcissist motherfuckers in high places of governmental power and bad people and robbers and crooks and bad breath after drinking coffee later in the day. Like all the things that I think about. What if everything that I ever experience is only evidencing back to me what I think I know? And even those of you that think I'm crazy, isn't there something in what I'm saying that's actually kind of like, God, that is true. And this is the craziest shit I've ever heard, and it's true. So this statement, everybody says you're creating your own reality. No, you're not. You're reflecting everything that you believe. But then why didn't that belief elimination course that I took handle everything? Because it goes a little deeper than your beliefs. Your beliefs, everything you think and believe and know, wound up with the emotions that you're denying and repressing that you don't want to feel. So check this out. In a way, you could have an image. It won't be exactly accurate. But picture you, little, poor, wounded, damaged, fucked up you. with all your pain and all your story and all the shit you've ever been through. Stuck in the middle, alienated from everything and everyone else. And what's around you is a wall. Everything you want to experience is on the outside of the wall. Little miserable fucked up you is right there in the middle. And the wall is made up of, the stones are everything you think and believe that you know. And the mortar, the glue that's holding all the rocks together into that wall is the emotions that you're repressing, that you don't want to feel, that you're denying that you have, and you've mastered repressing them so completely that you've actually created unbelievably convoluted mental, emotional, behavioral techniques to avoid yourself from ever noticing that you have the possibility that any of those emotions could be anywhere, because some of you are smiling because you know what I'm talking about, that crazy shit that you've been doing. How we doing? Is landing for anybody but me? Because I'm having a great time. I don't know about you guys. This is good shit right here. I'm not waiting for the good shit. How about you new people crazy enough to, y'all glad you came? Anybody? This is important for my ego, so please say yes or nod or give me some indicator that I'm doing okay, please. I start to stumble and stammer if you don't show me I'm doing good. Some of you have been working too hard. And what I mean by too hard is infinitely harder than you need to. You know who I'm talking to, don't you? Just give me a little tiny nod. If you know, that was what I was waiting for. You've been working way too fucking hard, not knowing that you're still trying to please your mommy and your daddy and your grandma by them seeing that you're their good little soldier. Still doing it. Now, this is where this matters. I'm going to recommend, I already did it for my first time. I'm going to be recommending highly that you create reminders for yourself. So everyone, let's just have fun. Let's just have our first little repeat after me. Let's all say the word just one time, only if you want to have fun. Reminders. Everyone say after me, reminders. So you got that word, reminders. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting up reminders for yourself of the truth of your infinite, unlimited, eternal being in a state of infinite, unlimited, eternal possibilities, in a state of perpetual grace and innocence, with everything possible and the past and the future being irrelevant. Because don't you kind of sort of secretly know that that might be true? Why did I make the crazy symbol when I did that? I have no fucking idea. That was for somebody. I didn't even know. Okay. You do. Or you wouldn't even, nobody would have stayed on this call this long with me. I know watching my hair bounce is fun, but nobody's staying on the call for that. You guys are not here because of that, nor for the jokes. Why the fuck did you agree with that, Linda? My jokes are good. I don't even know why you just nodded when I said that. If you didn't have an inkling that what I'm saying is true, you would not still be on this call with me saying some of this crazy shit that I'm saying. Infinite, unlimited, eternal being in a state of infinite possibilities forever, infinite grace, infinite eternal innocence, no wrong, no sin, no price to pay, no karma unless you still choose it. Pressed into your unconscious, tangled up with emotions that you feel about the inevitable punishments that you know are coming because of what you did. What if even that, wouldn't that fit under when I said, what if the universe, all of it is just the reflection, the projection of what maybe I'm including that shit like karma and all the other spiritual ideas that we have? Oh, that would change everything. So here's the thing. You could say, and I'm gonna go on a limb now. Breathe and be ready. Be ready. Because here's the good shit. You ready? This is the good shit right now. You got it? This is the good shit. I'm still going to say something, but this is the good shit, isn't it? What I'm about to say is quite literally one of the most profound things that's ever come through me as I'm speaking level 5 into existence, which is what I'm on the planet for. And I've never said it in any previous program, but I did tell everybody, and I did tell everybody in level 5 Liberation 3.0, I said, man, this happens almost every time I finish a program, and it's a great sales technique for me to pull all your suckers into my next fucking program too. But it also is true that every time I end the program, I always end it going into a place of such extreme acceleration of deepening of my own awareness and my ability to explain this stuff, which is why literally every session goes beyond the last session. It never ceases to amaze me. In fact, it amazes me so much that it never ceases to amaze me, how it doesn't even amaze me anymore, how I'm always fucking amazed and how it just keeps climbing. So something you guys have been hearing me talk about for a while, it's about to go to the next level right now. You ready? I told you it would. Here it goes. If the universe is the reflection and the projection of everything that I think and believe that I know, everything, all of the universe, nothing more and nothing less than the reflection of everything I think and believe that I know, the vast majority of which is hidden from me by me in the unconscious, much of which is tangled up in emotions that I don't want to feel, that I'm repressing, avoiding, denying, don't want to feel, then in a way I could say that another definition of the universe would be the universe is the ever-present reminder of everything that I believe and know. It's the ever-present reminder, ever reflecting back to me only what I think and believe that I know. Now, depending on how deeply that moves you, that's how deep your presence is right now. But wait, there's more. If you act right now, you'll also receive, check this out. How long have I been talking to you that have been hanging around with me? How long have I been talking to you about setting up reminders for yourself? Quick note. Thank you. If you become the dog, present, bringing attention and presence, next time that motherfucking asshole in your life does that mean fucking terrible shit to you that's so unfair again, you won't perceive that there's a mean, nasty motherfucker, narcissist asshole doing something wrong and mean and bad again. You'll say, this person is a reflection and a projection of something I think and believe that I know, tied up with emotions that I don't want to feel. And whereas I and everyone around me would say, when he did that, he made me feel sad. Instead, I say, this sadness that I'm feeling right now that I thought was because of what he did, can't be because of what he did. Actually, the sadness in me is reflecting and projecting as this person doing this thing so that the feeling can come up and not be hidden from me by me. It can come up and be felt and loved and released, and I can be free of it. Now, I can and I will remind you of that a couple 100,000 times over the next few weeks. And you'll forget it instantly. Brian, you're being such an asshole. No, I'm not. Because the odds are that you're only going to breathe deep enough just to get out of your temporary hell. Not enough to rise into full presence where you actually let yourself see the profound truth with a capital T that's being shared and reflected here. Uh-huh. How you doing, Samantha? I feel like checking in. I'm gonna unmute you. Don't fart. Okay, you can. Oh, there we go. How you doing right now, Samantha?
Doing really well. I'm appreciating all of these reminders. And I was actually just looking at a reminder that I have on my phone, which tells me to, I don't know if you can read it, says, breathe into presence. How is this for me? And a reminder to feel the feelings that this is, so I was just looking at the, but I I am also looking forward to putting up more reminders. I had a reminder in my phone at one point every Sunday night to put up fresh reminders, different reminders, from the week past, what I'd come to an awareness of and want to, and I haven't done that in a long time. So time for some fresh new reminders because they are powerful and, it's so easy to forget who we are. And
it's so easy to forget who we are because the universe is an ever-present reminder of who and what I thought I was.
Yeah.
Anything else, Samantha?
Just very grateful to be here. I love being in your presence and in the presence of all of you. And for me, this is absolutely essential, to have even just this weekly reminder, this being in this space for a couple of hours every week to remind me of what I'm committed to and to keep myself accountable. And, because a lot of this I became aware of and came to believe years ago. And it's a process to fully embody it consistently, and for as long as it takes, I'm gonna work toward that because I've had moments where I felt incredibly liberated and I feel more at peace than I've ever felt, more consistently than I've ever been, and it's so worth it. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Samantha. Is anybody else glad that I felt to check in with Samantha? Okay, so Samantha said something that was probably profounder than she realized, and maybe some of you clicked. And for me, it was fireworks. When she said she had a reminder to remind herself to make fresh reminders. Now, I believe, and I say that word with a little bit of humor, I believe that the most valuable thing that we can do in this life, in these bodies, at this time, in this course, in this program, in our daily life, is to breathe ourselves into presence. You might notice I talk about it often. To breathe ourselves into presence. And for many reasons, which are discussed in my book, which I'm recommending this time, this program, I'm recommending that everybody reads the book a couple times during the program. Listen, you can read, if you have average reading skills, you can read that book in less than 2 hours. My book. If you don't watch the videos that came with it, you can read it in 2 hours. Some of you that really want it this time, you're going to read that book every damn week. And you're going to get more out of it every time. And you let those themes come alive. Because like the more spell breaking I do in these sessions and the less teaching I do, the teaching's there. Like I've got hundreds of hours of videos. I can share more with you, and I will be sharing more. If the foundation is there in the book, do you really want to waste our session time with me continually teaching you shit that was in the book that you could have gone and read while you were breathing? You know, do you want me to spend 80% of our time on these sessions reminding you stubborn spiritual fucks to just breathe? Because I can, and it'll be the most valuable course you've ever taken if I do. The only thing is, if you guys will apply it on your own, then I can get down to multiplying the results with some spell breaking. So, on this reminders thing, if the universe is the never-ending reflection and projection of everything you think and believe that you know, the vast majority of which is hidden from you by you in unconscious, much of which is tangled up in emotions that you don't want to feel, and arising from the fact that you don't want to feel those feelings, that shit that's hidden from you by you, which is the vast majority, never is going to be visible to you. So you're fumbling in the fucking dark, seeing and aware of less than 0.00001% of what is, and you call that reality, and you battle with it with less than 0.00001% of your infinite fucking self. I just explained your life, baby. So, number one, breathing yourself into presence, turning on your nervous system, illuminating your DNA, oxygenating every cell, switching the organs on and turning their functions up, moving the diaphragm in the way that serves your body the most, balancing sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, balancing brain and heart, illuminating all the chakras, allowing a higher vibrational frequency into every cell of your body, every atom, elevating, lining the chakras, activating all the systems to turn on, illuminating and activating and oxygenating the brain and the parts of the brain that haven't had a fucking speck of breath in the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years, illuminating the parts of you that have been sleeping in the dark since they pulled you out of that pussy and slapped your ass. Except for those of us who were fortunate enough to have mom shot up with drugs and her belly cut open and we got pulled out that way. And we've been suffering ever since. Number one, breathing yourself into presence and coming alive again. Number two, setting up as many reminders as you can possibly tolerate, because I will make you a bet right now. You won't be able, even if you work 27 hours a day, 12 days a week, you will not be able to create as many reminders of your infinite perfection as you have created reminders of your fucked up disastrousness. Got it? All right, we're going to take something of a break, not really a break. Anybody that needs to move or stretch or twist something or breathe, I want you to do that. And I want to go over to the chat for a moment. Those of you that aren't on video, if you're not on video, the only reason to be in this course and not on video is if you're walking or driving. Otherwise, come in, be on video. If anybody wants, I'm going to ask a very specific question on purpose right now. I'm not asking for you to tell me about delivering papers when you were 5 right now. I have a specific target that I want to ask. I want to ask, how you're doing right now and how you're feeling right now about what we're doing on this session right now. It can be someone this is your first session. It could be someone who's been with me for a long time. Those of you that aren't on video, you can use the chat. Those of you that are on video, anybody who wants to, I want to hear how this is landing for you, how this is working for you, how you're feeling right now about what we're doing. Anybody that has anything that they feel to share, express. I'm looking. Okay, I just saw Linda's hand go up. And where did she go? There she is. Somebody turned their video off and you moved locations there. Okay. So what you got, Linda?
I'm feeling internally frustrated in the
I'm
sense
not taking any negativity. Let me get to someone else. I'm just kidding. What you got?
Choosing not to breathe seems to me to be part of a reflection and projection of something I'm not aware of, why that continues to be an experience, right? So to me, it seems that I'm feeling that this would be a number one spell break to resolve because I know breathing is so essential.
Thank you for that. Okay. So I'm glad you said that. My response might be surprising. Maybe we'll see. Everybody got that? She basically just said, why is Rena so fucking selfish that she'll only breathe herself up out of hell? Because Rena had the guts to admit it. She didn't know she was admitting it when she did, but she did. Why is it, if the breathing is this important, why am I not doing it? And instead of me doing a spell break on that, I'm going to tell you what's up. And this is something you're going to be able to use again and 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 again. So session after session, I've talked about this from so many angles, but that it's not a scolding. Like this must be addressed again and again and again until it takes root. And we're the ones who will let it take root or not. We're born infinite, unlimited love, infinite, unlimited energy. We're born into fucking hell. Earth Academy. So many emotional things. So much pain. Mom's pain, dad's pain. I mean, one of the things I talk about every once in a while, and I usually don't go this hardcore on the orientation session because I want to let people get used to my crazy, but I mean, can you imagine your parents fucking? It's weird. The vast majority of us, we just go, can we talk about something else? And if your parents ever did fuck, those crazy fuck, if they actually ever fuck, would you want to be the product of that? You've been avoiding that thought your whole life, haven't you? Oh, without any idea that you were avoiding that thought your whole life, denying that you were avoiding that thought. But man, when you go there and you look at that, I'm the product of that. So the list of things about which we could and do have emotions about is legion. I don't think I've ever used that word that way in a sentence. I feel very regal right now. Legion. And so when we were little, those crazy motherfuckers that were raising us, they didn't have a clue. I mean, they were doing their best. They didn't mean no wrong. I never mean anything harmful. I say a lot of playful things. Those of you, the longer you're around, especially if you're breathing deep, you won't get triggered. You'll be like, oh, I see why he said that. I see what he's pointing to, something that I was thinking without even knowing. All right. these crazy motherfuckers, they hadn't handled their emotions at all. In fact, they were taught not to. They were taught that they couldn't handle their emotions. So listen, when you were 1 year old and you fell and banged your head on the table, did your mom and dad sit on the floor and take your hands in their hands as they breathe deep and calmly, look in your eyes, and say, "It's okay, sweetie. Just breathe deep. I love you. You're okay. You're fine. You're safe." When you woke up scared and you ran to their room for the 4th time when you were 4, and they were trying to fuck, or fight, or have one of those fucking fights some people get into. And I'm scared. And they said, "Get back in your room." We don't even know how many of those things happen. If we knew how many babies in the womb, which all of us were, and still are. If we knew how many babies in the womb have attempts made on their lives with elbows to the belly from dad, accidental push down the stairs, oops, mom with a coat hanger feeling like she just can't possibly face having to deal with a child with this son of a bitch she's married to, and on 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 and on. Breathe deep. Just don't worry about it. It's already there. I'm only just pointing to it. Just keep breathing. Then when we have our upsets, they basically if we get too joyful, they shut us down. If we get too sad, they shut us down. If we get too scared, they shut us down. If we get angry, then they show us their anger, which is so much bigger than ours. We're fucked. We got no way out. So the number one skill, you guys hear me? The number one skill, the number one thing. What number am I talking about, y'all? Number one thing that we have mastered in our lives more than any other skill. The number one thing that we have put more time, effort, and energy into mastering than anything else in our entire lives is how to not feel those emotions. Now, this is amazing. Even a couple of you stubborn motherfuckers are nodding this time. Oh, I think I'm starting to catch on. This is actually the truth. Now, this is so outrageously far out. This is so far. Imagine that someone's like threw me onto stage and I was on I'm on the Ellen show. Okay. I'm on popular, brain dead, international television. And someone was to ask me a question, and I said the number one skill, the number one talent, the number one thing that everyone on this planet has put more time, energy, effort, mastery, practice, energy, drilling, rehearsing, practicing, more than any other skill in the entire fucking world is the skill of how to not feel their emotions. And yet, when I say it to you, something in you goes, holy shit, I think he's right. That's a trip. Well, guess what? You really, 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 when it all comes down to it, there's only one technique that you can master. There's only one. We're back to the same one again. There's only one skill, the number one skill, the number one technique, the number one practice that you practice and drill and rehearse 1 billion times, 1 trillion times, more than you could ever imagine in order to not feel those fucking feelings. And it's called not breathing. Holding your breath. If you check in every time you ever talk about anything that you feel scared about, nervous about, upset about, you'll find that you contract your throat and you squish your diaphragm and then you feel powerless because you cut off your fucking power. So the answer, that was about an 832,000 word answer. Here is the short answer. The reason why you don't breathe like you could is because you know damn well that if you did, those feelings would come up to be found. And look at you holding your breath like, I'm looking at some of you holding your breath, literally, as I'm saying it, you're going. So what if the universe, what you call the universe, including your body, which is not separate, is the reflection and the projection of everything that you think and believe that you know? The vast majority of which is hidden from you, by you, in the unconscious, much of which is tangled up in emotions that you don't want to feel. Then if we were to use that as our filter, then here's some evidence. Why don't we breathe the way we could? That's your evidence. That's the reflection and the projection of the fact that you know not to breathe. And why do you know not to breathe? It's hidden from you by you, because you hid in your unconscious that you learn not to breathe because you would feel those emotions that you don't want to fucking feel. I think you just like literally proved everything that I've been saying the whole time in such a glorious way. So this is where it becomes a choice, and it becomes an ongoing choice. And because you have endless repetitions and reflections of endless reminders, which you call the universe and life, it's really fucking important that you decide to be the source of your reminders rather than the reactor to the pre-existing reminders. Oh, diggity damn doodah. What did he just say? I want to grab my journal so bad and write that shit down. Do it on the replay.
Say it again.
So I'm still with you, Linda. What I'm recommending to you, and oh, by the way, another one of our principles of these sessions. Rich, you're always the first to answer. So everybody, if you can see Rich, when I say, hey, Alan, and I'm talking to Alan, Rich, can you please show me who I'm talking to? All right. And if I say, hey, Rex, blah, 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 who am I talking to, Rich? Now, those are dudes. But if I happen to say Marilyn, who am I talking to, Rich? So the point here is, everybody, that we are all one. And the reason why in my clever marketing pitch for this program, I said one of the things that happens is when I work with one person on a spell break, everybody that's present, that doesn't mean everybody that's on the call. Everybody who's present will have their own version of the breakthrough, especially if they're breathing. It'll be more so. So right now, it may or may not look like I'm talking to Linda. Everybody, I'm always talking to you. And it's always the good shit. Don't wait for the good shit. Have I said that before? I'll keep saying it. Reminders are the second most important thing after presence. And it's reminders of your presence. So I'm going to give you one reminder that I used for quite a while. And I've actually been contemplating, hey, baby, how you doing? Come say hi to everybody. Oh, yeah. That's my girl right there. She's one of my reminders. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Love you. I love you. Tell them bye-bye. One of the ultimate reminders is check. So picture these words on a note or in an audio note. to yourself in your voice or in your writing. Check your presence, your breath, and your posture, and then act on this reminder now. Now, you set that up to where in your calendar, on your iPhone or your Android or your Huawei, whatever the fuck you got, you set a voice recording where you say, sitting up straight, breathing deep, remembering and feeling all these things that we're talking about here. You record your voice, short little reminder. Check your power, your presence, your breath, and your posture. And then act on this reminder now. So that every single time a notification on your calendar comes up, that's what you hear first. That's what you read first. And then fucking do it. Actually do what the note said. You can set your ringtone to say, check your presence, check your breath, check your posture, and then answer this call. And it'll make people in restaurants look at you like you're fucking weird. But they'll still be suffering, denying their emotions. And you won't. Another thing that you can do, and I'm strongly recommending this, and those of you who are sitting right now thinking, well, that's a great idea, I probably won't do it. Give yourself a hug, love yourself, and then watch your results. And then when you watch this replay again, you might decide to do it. Or maybe you'll be on session 4 suffering more than ever, and someone will say, man, I did that crazy thing you said, Brian, and let me tell you what happened. And then you'll do it. So I'm going to weave this in now. There's an idea in Central and South American, and I'm sure that a lot of it was in North America and just got eradicated by the Inquisition and all. There's an idea of stalking, and I talked about it in a recent program. Stalking, S-T-A-L-K-I-N-G. It means when you see someone you really like, you just follow them around. No, that's not what I mean. Stalking. And a symbol of this is the jaguar. It's very commonly, so if you study Toltec, T-O-L-T-E-C, if you study Toltec wisdom, those types of things, you'll run into this concept a lot of being the jaguar who stalks the lies, looking for my lies. Now, almost all of us are beaten to death with punishment and blame and trouble. So if we're stalking our lies, we must be about to get in trouble. We're going to catch ourselves in a lie. It's not like that. It's choosing to be loving and spot the lie so that you can love the one who was telling the lie. Side road, and I trust that I'll remember and come back to this. Somebody can drag me back to this topic if I do get off for a minute. I told my kids, when I realized this years ago, I told my kids, I said, listen, I'm never going to punish you for lying. Because if I punish you for lying, I'd have to kill myself for all my lies. So let's do an experiment, kids. From now on, whenever you lie, and then I ask you, hey, are you telling the truth? You're lying. The second you're ready, say, yeah, I was lying. And the sooner you say it, the sooner I'll be able to hug you and tell you how much I love you. That's how I play it. What if you gave yourself that gift? Starting now. You think that might change things a bit? Do you have any idea how many times an hour you've been lying to yourself? Would you be willing to admit and begin to discover how many times an hour you've been lying to yourself? So there's this idea of fraud syndrome. It's really common in psychology and different realms of study, self-help, fraud syndrome is when you basically feel like a total fucking fraud. Okay. I want to ask you a question. Up until this moment, if you have been an absolute, utter, total fucking fraud, just raise your hand. If you've been an absolute, utter, don't raise your hand because everybody else is. And if you don't think you are, please don't raise your hand. I'll just point out that you're a fucking liar. And then you can choose to love yourself for being a liar like everybody else. Here's why I say you've been an absolute, utter, total fucking fraud. Tina. Deanna, here's why. You are infinite, unlimited energy pretending to be a fucked up human. You're a fucking fraud. Get over it and love yourself. And the minute you make peace with the fact that you've been a total fraud, you don't have to be a fraud anymore. So this jaguar practice, stalking your lies, it's really about presence again, only you're choosing now to aim your presence. See, the dog's not listening to the commode to hear if the water's swirling or not. It turns toward what matters most to it, which is that sound of the key in the door. So what if you decided to become present and then you chose to aim your presence at the sound of the key in the door? To undo your lies is to discover the truth, which is to discover that you were infinitely unlimited, powerful, infinite, unlimited energy, perfect beyond right and wrong, good and bad, in a state of infinite possibilities and eternal innocence with no right and no wrong and no good and bad and no punishment ever, except for that which you believe that's buried and hidden from you in the unconscious, not knowing that you know it, tangled up with emotions that you don't want to feel because of what you got programmed with about good and bad and right and wrong and punishment. So how might one do that? I have a technique. I call it reminders. So you could sit down watching the replay, pull out your pen and your journal, which you always conveniently keep near your side now because you have become the jaguar, stalking your perfect life by spotting your lies and turning them into truth and loving the one who felt like it needed to lie. Because I'm going to let you in on a secret right here, sidetracking myself, even as I'm in the middle of a fucking sentence. The only reason that anyone ever tells a lie is because they don't feel safe. Period. Would you accept that possibility? Would you let yourself off the hook? So Dev and I have been together for literally, wow, we're coming right up on 3 years now. We have, just one sec, Rich. I don't know what that was. If you want to chat something. Oh, no, that wasn't for me. Okay, yeah, 3 years. And we have both caught each other in lies in the course of 3 years. And we don't do it like almost everybody else does, because almost everybody gets hurt when the other lies, because that's what our parents did. And there was always a threat, and there was always, Dev and I both know the only reason that anyone would ever fucking lie about anything is that they don't feel safe. And when you know that and you can maintain that awareness because you're actually breathing and present, then when the other lies, you meet them with more of a, oh, not, oh, poor, no, and not you motherfucker. So let me ask you a question. I dare you to answer it out loud with a yes or no, and I don't care who's sitting near you. I dare you to answer it out loud with a yes or no. Have you lied recently? Will you check and see, is it true that you only lied because you didn't feel safe? Is it true that you only lied because you didn't feel safe? See, the minute that you give yourself that gift, you could choose to give it to the other. I'm so hurt that you lied. What? Huh? So the cure, the solution, would be reminders of the what? How about the truth? Presence is the answer. What you think and believe that you know that's hidden from you by you, tangled up in emotions that you don't want to feel, is the source of all lies. It's the source of all pain. It's the source of all your batshit crazy behaviors. Side note here, I want to make a suggestion. And there is one person on here, and when I say this, you're going to know who I'm talking to. However, I am also only talking to the one infinite, unlimited being behind us all. You wonderful, infinite, unlimited being, you make posts every hour or two or three, complaining and expressing every miserable thing that happens in your fucking life. You just tell everything. Oh, now the commode's broken. Oh, those sons of bitches at work. Now they blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck, now my hemorrhoid just popped out. You might want to pause and consider why you're doing that. Are you looking for sympathy? Sympathy is pure poison. Nobody needs it. Nobody benefits from it. The giver, the receiver, nobody. Ever. If you would keep those things to yourself and breathe rather than sending the energy out through that burst of your fingers, send that energy in. How am I feeling in this moment? When the commode quit working. What was I telling myself right before that? You're spraying your steam that you could have gathered as presence. You're spraying it out and dispersing it and spraying it out through every hole. Basically farting all your power out again and 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 again. Now I'm going to ask a really weird question because I'm literally saying this to one person who knows who they are. And yet I want to ask a question. What I just said, if it's relevant to you, raise your hand anyway so that this person can see. Now, I love you all. And those of you who didn't raise your hand, stick around and breathe a little deeper. You'll see that it was relevant for you. Have you been consistently choosing to consistently remind yourself to consistently aim all of your steam directly, consistently only in the direction you want to go? So this thing about why don't we breathe? Why do I keep doing the arena technique? Just breathing just enough to get out of hell. Now you understand much more why. And now you can meet the one in you that was doing it with much more compassion. And when you're not making it a wrong or a bad or something to fix, you give her a hug and you say, it's okay. I am going to go ahead and breathe deeper. I'm going to choose more presence. It's okay. We're going to play it this way now and you're safe. Come along. I've heard you say that you don't want to. Just come along. Hold on. I'm going to breathe anyway. And then when you set those reminders, when you put pictures of a dog all over your house, when you replace the screensaver on your computer and phone and tablet with a picture of a jaguar, unshakable, totally focused presence. And then you weave some words into there. Check your breath, check your posture, and then answer this phone call. Do you think more reminders, if you were to sit and think, how many reminders a day do I get that I'm a stupid, fucked up, worthless, fat idiot in a giant machine that's going to grind me to bits? How many reminders do I get a day? Am I willing to consider, Marilyn, Christine, Elaine, am I willing to admit or even consider the possibility that all those reminders that I ever get are actually arising from myself? And could I allow myself to admit that without weaving blame or punishment into it? Maybe that's why I've been blaming everybody else, because I still believe that blame lands with pain. So I kept projecting. But if I was willing to become aware and admit of how many reminders in a given day I receive of the nightmare that is my life. If I will become present and admit to myself how many reminders a day I actually am getting from within and without, and it's all within, then I might actually take serious the idea that I might want to start being a little more intentional about my daggone reminders. How serious am I? How would I be willing to have my phone go off and I'm in a damn restaurant and my phone goes off, and instead of ding, 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 whatever the fuck I had on there that I thought was clever or cool or cute that my friends would relate to, it's all great. That's all great when life's working. Have fun. Would I be willing to let my phone be a ringer, my phone ringer, be my voice saying, check your power, check your presence, check your posture, check your breath, and then answer this call? Second ring, check your power, check your breath. And somebody looks at you and says, what the fuck is that? And you say, my freedom, bitches. That's the sound of freedom, bitches. And what if you put 2 or 3 pictures of Jaguar in the house and your honey says, the hell is that? And you say, I put it up because I love you and me. If you're curious, I'll be happy to explain it to you. If not, it's fine. And you replace that screensaver on your phone and on your tablet and on all of your devilish devices, reminding you to be present when you look at those screens that literally are designed to bring you to the opposite of presence. Engineered And here's the tricky part. There's really no tricky part. But here's the tricky part. You ready? Here's the tricky part. The tricky part is actually when you hear that message go off, you actually do it. Because it's great to say, look at me, I just created this reminder. I'm done. Oh, yay, I'm evolving. My reminder went off. And it's when the reminder goes off and you actually go, hello. Next thing, let's fly through a few items here. Never ever do what I just did. Never, ever, ever put your phone against your head. Keep all of your electronics in airplane mode as much as you possibly can. Well, Brian, you're saying like if I'm just getting in the car, putting my phone in my pocket? Yes, put that fucker in airplane mode. If you're not on it or using it, put it in airplane mode. You have no idea. And if you think you have any idea, you have no idea. You don't want to necessarily know. And if you do want to know, I can point you to some resources. Keep your devices in airplane mode. There is a book that you don't want to read. And it's called The Something Rainbow, and it'll come back to me in a moment. The Invisible Rainbow. I don't recommend you read it. But if you want to read it, read it. And it tells the history of electricity and how it's actually been killing us all ever since it originated. Okay. Now, Brian, that's negative. No, it's not. It's find out. Listen, I love snakes. I love snakes. I am not scared of snakes. I was catching snakes when I was 7 years old. I love snakes and reptiles. Love, 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 love. However, for people who don't know how to handle snakes, I don't recommend that you have a dump truck full of rattlesnakes dumped in through your fucking window. Don't do that. And if you have snakes, like either learn how to handle them and then you'll never have a problem if you know how to handle them, or get them out of your fucking house. So if you're going to have, okay, so if someone was to drop off 5 snakes at your house just because they love you, and one of them was a completely harmless Eastern king snake, and 3 of them were water moccasins, and one of them was a rattlesnake, you want to know which is which, don't you? Oh, the rattlesnake, keep several feet between me and that. Half of its body, it can basically strike. So as long as I'm a little further than half away, I don't have to worry about it. It's not going to chase me. But you see, most people don't know that. So they just freak out about snakes, or they just don't want to know. And then they're walking in the woods, brain dead, not paying attention. They step on one, they get bit, and they die. Having electricity in your house is a lot like having poisonous snakes in your house. And we all have it, and none of us look. And we all, it must be fine. Everybody's got it. Everybody's not dead. Look at the cancer rates. Look at everything that's going on. You might want to become a little bit more aware. So there are sources of information. If you look at EMF protection for your whole house, there's things you can do to reduce the amount of electromagnetic smog and electromagnetic radiation and things that are affecting you. The most important thing I personally believe you can do is to keep your phone and tablets. If you have them near your body, have them in airplane mode at all times. I'm in the process right now of taking my house to completely wireless free. It is only going to have wired connections through the entire house. No wireless in my house whatsoever. I'm contemplating, there's some evidence that shows that Mylar, which is like a plastic type material, that if you put Mylar on your walls, it will actually prevent internet and other electromagnetic stuff from permeating through your walls into your space. It's at least your sleeping space. Well, Brian, I don't know how much that costs. Turn your goddamn phone off. Take the first step that you can take and let yourself notice, I just took a step. And love yourself. Acknowledge that you did take a step. The more you reduce the effects of these things on your body, the more benefit. And then when you choose to put your phone in your pocket, as you go through the rest of your day, at least you'll know that I said it, You'll be secretly beating yourself up in your own mind and not even knowing it. And gradually you'll start to notice these things and you'll say, I want to start making different choices. Dig? Next, water. So air is number one. Breathing is number one. Breathing is number one. Have I made it clear that breathing is number one? I think it's clear. Breathing is number one. I don't know if anybody's going to do it. Water is number two. Now, every process for getting water into your body these days, somewhat compromised. Every process. Rain comes down with whatever's in it. The cities, you know, if you're in a city, I just feel for you. I don't know why you would do that to yourself under any circumstances. You might want to think about it, maybe. Consider a different choice. Cities add poisonous chemicals to the water that governments mandate. And then everybody's shitting and pissing and snotting and shampooing and degreasing. And all of the pharmaceuticals that they're taking go straight into the water. The water goes through the sewers to the city, where the city takes out the visible substances and filters down to where the water doesn't have like giant chunks floating in it anymore. And then they clarify it with chlorine. They add more chemicals. They cannot take out pharmaceuticals or anything else. And they send it back to you to drink and shower again. It's just how it is. But Brian, that's horrible. It's a nightmare. Well, listen, spend 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks and buy a decent shower filter. And then even if you take a bath, use the shower filter so that you're not sitting in that water. And I personally recommend, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there and people sell different systems. At this moment, I'm not making any money. I'm not like a affiliate or anything. I recommend reverse osmosis. Some systems are more efficient. The company that I use is called H2O Blue. It's under $200 on Amazon, and it's a damn decent system. And it does carbon to take out the chemicals and sediment and all that stuff. And then it has a reverse osmosis membrane on it. And then what I do is, because reverse osmosis takes out nearly everything out of the water, you have this super aggressive water. I'm not a fan of alkalized waters, and almost everybody that is, I just, okay, that's fine. You just go your way. That's fine. You believe it, and there's evidence for everything. What I recommend and what we do is we're talking like low cost, whatever that means. I have a 5-gallon decanter sitting on my counter over there. And I can recommend some things. So I'm going to give you the short list right now. You can put rose quartz. You can put basically fluorite, any type of quartz, fluorite. And there is something called elite shungite. Write it down on the replay. S-H-U-N-G-I-T-E, shungite. So if you have if you have a reverse osmosis system and you have a decanter, like I'm talking about 5-gallon glass thing, then in the bottom of it, you want to really wash it. When you get your crystals and if you use shungite, you want to put them in a bucket. I'll answer that in just 1 second about the water distiller. You can put the crystals in a bucket of some kind, put about half water and half vinegar, and let it soak for 3 or 4 days. And then rinse before you use the crystals, because you don't know where they came from. If they were exploded out of the ground with explosives, there's just so many questions to be asked. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being present. So as much of this as you can swing, and listen, you know what? Anything is better than nothing, isn't it? If you're literally sitting somewhere right now where you say, I could literally probably put 20 bucks in, go get a fucking 0 water pitcher. It's better than nothing. Take a step in the direction instead of taking no step and feeling pissed off and frustrated. Water distillers. Different distillation processes are better than others. The issue with distilled water, similar to reverse osmosis, is that if you distill your water, you're getting pure water, unless there were any impurities in your distiller. But when you take that pure water, there's a big debate about how healthy it is to drink when the water's that pure and that aggressive that it can actually pull substances out of your body that you don't want pulled out, because that osmosis is happening. So the next step that I gave is really beneficial. If you get a nice tank of glass, so there's no impurities, and then you put crystals in the water, especially fluorites, quartzes, and this elite shungite. Elite shungite, the price is rising rapidly. However, you can still get like a few ounces or a half a pound. Not much. It comes from Karelia, Russia. So elite shungite, Shungite. Elite shungite is the best. Look up later on, look up fullerenes, Fullerenes, fullerenes and shungite, and you'll see that this elite shungite actually puts out the most powerful antioxidants from a mineral. It's fucking mind-boggling what it does. And the last piece of this is salts. Microplastics are a significant issue in the world right now. And most of us have woken up to not put like sodium chloride salt into our bodies. If you're still buying Morton, slap yourself, then forgive yourself, give yourself a hug, give that shit to someone that you hate, and then buy some decent salt. So more and more people are waking up and going to sea salts, which have all the minerals that the body needs. And today, most sea salts are full of microplastics. And so you look at it with a microscope, and there's a salt crystal, and there's a microplastic crystal, and there's a salt crystal, and there's a micro. Not that pleasant. You know, let's become present so that we can address these things without worrying about them. It's not about that. There is a company, and the name is not coming up for me right now. I know there's a website called Dancing with Water that you can look at. It has a lot of resources. There are salts that are being mined ethically and consciously from dried oceans where there's no plastics. And I found this source. It's like 6 different dried oceans, and they mix all the salts together. So it's this living salt. We add that to our water. So it's the most beneficial way of remineralizing. Not about alkalizing necessarily. It's about remineralizing the water, okay? So you take the purest water you can get, add some salts to it, just a little bit. Like, you don't want to necessarily drink salt water, right? You get my point? Number one, unquestionably, number one, the breath and presence. Close number 2, water. Number 3, my partner and I, Dev, who you guys will be seeing if you haven't before, she and I are involved with a company called Purium, and several people on here are involved with us. You can join this as a company. You can join it as a business. You can share it with other people, and you can actually make commissions and all of that stuff. So it has that side of the business. If that brings up any trace of unpleasantness or negativity for you, that's something you really want to address. The idea of sharing something and making money for it, and all your associations with that type of stuff. This company also, you have the ability of sharing it with people, and they don't have to be involved in the business. It's not like automatic shipping and monthly minimums. There's none of that bullshit. And listen to me carefully, because I decided from now on I was doing a disservice by not sharing this with my clients and audience and groups. Partly, I actually considered not bringing it up because some people would feel sales resistance. Oh, God, he's trying to sell us something. You know what? Fuck that bullshit. Get over it. Seriously. If I'm going to talk this much about air, and then I leave out nutrition because some of you are going to have an issue with it, I'm serious. I love you too much to give a fuck what you think. And all of you that are sharing this information, I hope you'll take what I just said to heart. Don't worry about that shit. This company literally is the unquestioned, inarguable, undeniable, highest integrity nutrition company in the world. There's nobody, in my mind, there's nobody in second place. They actually look, when they go into areas to grow, they go in and they heal the soil first. They're teaming up with farmers to help them go organic and beyond organic. Almost every ingredient that they grow, they only use it raw, processed below 85 degrees. It's unheard of in the nutrition world. If I were to speak for an hour about this company, I would only be benefiting you. And if you want to let the fact that, if I recommend the products and you use them, I'm going to make a few bucks because I referred you, you really want to get that checked out. I can refer you to physicians who remove those types of things from people's anuses. It's called your head, removing that from your anus. I understand a lot of people have a lot of resistance. We've all experienced things that we didn't like. I have shared this company and these nutritional, number one, we live on them. My kitchen is full of it. It's the absolute highest potency, highest purity nutrition available on the planet. And I've been researching for over 30 years. I was overjoyed by the miracle when I found this company. Everyone in my family uses them. I share them with everybody closest to me. So again, I made this decision. You know what? If I don't share it, I'm doing you a disservice. You do what you want to do about it. And if you're in a place financially where you literally all that you can see doing is adding one product, it will do more for you than you can probably imagine. And the way that Dev and I handle this, my partner, Dev, can you come here for a sec? The way that we handle this, level 5, I'm doing what I am. Level 5 is my entire focus. And radical nutrition that not only elevates your health, also your emotions and your mentality and your consciousness. That's what this is really about. Nutrition that elevates your awareness. She handles that side. So I recommend the products. Whenever someone says, I think I would be interested in that, what Dev does, she will jump on the phone with you and do a 15-minute, 30-minute consultation. Listen, you'll see her in a minute. This chick don't have a sales bone in your body. You don't have to worry about, oh, she's going to try to finagle me. No, she'll literally find out what your health concerns are, what kind of health goals you have. If you have any supposed health challenges of any kind, she will make a recommendation that is perfect for you. And then you do what you want to do. You either order or you don't. It's like, we don't care. All right. We're not doing the business in that way. This is 100% to benefit people. And one last time, if you do look at the company, if you're interested in your health, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you'll see that if I didn't share this with you, I would have been doing you a disservice. Okay. And I don't know, in future programs, I literally might devote an hour out of the dozens of hours. I might devote an hour to it. I'll just say, get your questions answered. So babe, I was just telling everybody a little bit about Purium. Could just come say howdy. And that if anybody's interested in taking a look, having a health recommendation.
Hey, Rena. Hi, everyone. Rosemary, Rex, Elaine, V, Esther, Peter, and Elka. Christy, yay. Nasi, Andrea, Debbie. Love you all.
So this is the chick that I know she's very intimidating, but anybody that's actually interested in having a health consult, she will answer your questions. Again, any challenges you have, any history that you might have had, any goals that you want to reach with weight or health or energy or any of that kind of stuff. She is really becoming ninja at this. And we have helped a lot of people. And I couldn't possibly recommend it highly enough. Air first, the purest water you can get second, nutrition third, and then the EMFs and all that type of stuff. So let me see. Rena just said something, babe. Still thinking of the chocolate cake. All right, thanks, babe. I just wanted to see how scary you are.
I got an attack dog too, so
yeah,
watch out.
If you don't order our products, we sick this on you.
See you guys.
Awesome. Okay, so let me just feel in for a minute. Presence, breath. being the dog, being the jaguar, stalking, becoming present and present to what is with no more need for fault or blame, punishment, karma. Beginning to be more gentle with myself, beginning to take care of myself to the extent that I feel able, which helps me to find out that I'm more and more able than I ever thought. And last, so we're 2 hours and 20 minutes in right now. But we had several minutes of getting ready to start. So we're about 2 hours and maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to tell you now, after we have these things starting and these things starting to come together in ourselves, the most important thing of all. And I could give a lot of examples. I'm going to just give one that's very recent and present for me right now in my life. So, gentleness and kindness. Gentleness and kindness. That dog is fucking retarded. Okay? And I mean, I love that dog. I love that little psycho. And she is just batshit crazy. And so the story is that she's 3 to 5 years old. And I don't know, if you looked at it, that dog looks older than 3 to 5 years old. The story is that she was being bred over and over and over. She was a puppy mill. And she was in a cage with her sister, underfed, and just churning out puppies. So she was a rescue dog. And, you know, I haven't seen the film strip of her life, but just imagine, if you want to, being put in a cage, forced to breed over and over and over and have puppies while you're underfed, and you're in a cage with your sister being underfed, literally constantly chewing each other to pieces. Like when we got her, her face was more scars than fur. She's got pieces out of her eyebrows and off her ears, little pieces missing. Just fucking Chihuahuas have sharp little teeth, right? So they were just shredding each other, her and her sister, while she was in that hellish existence. Apparently also being abused by some people. Now, those of you that's bringing up all your memories of pets, just breathe. And so here, we got the dog, and she instantly just bonded instantaneously with my 12-year-old daughter, Suki, and with Dev. And of course, I was very jealous and offended. You selfish little bitch. I just paid to get you out of the hell, and I'm buying your food and your crate and your blanket and your bed and you little fucker. And then I would notice that she and Dev would be in the room and like standing there. And if I walked in, she would like cower and, what the fuck? I'm petting you. I'm loving you. I'm doing that. What the hell is going on here? And of course I realize she's scared shitless. That dog is so scared she don't know what planet she's on. I mean, she wasn't in the cage going through that for 5 or 10 minutes out of her 3 to 5 years. It was chronic panic. Exactly like your childhood. That you are doing everything you can possibly do to never feel and never remember. Oh, Brian, my childhood really wasn't that bad. You are so cute. Not having both parents ever present with unconditional love 24/7 is hell. And who among us had that? So what if every lie that anyone ever tells is only because they don't feel safe? What if every manipulation, unethical, every unethical move, every dumb thing that we say and do is literally what we do when we don't feel safe? Because none of us basically ever have had 5 minutes in our existence in these bodies of feeling as safe as we actually are. So when you think about the safest you've ever felt, the most relaxed you've ever felt, what I'm proposing to you, the high probability that it's not even the beginning of scratching the surface or the lowest floor of what's available to you in the skyscraper of awesomeness that you actually are. And our world is set up to endlessly remind us of the panic so that we never recover. The news, the headlines, social media. Remember those reminders I was talking about? So I reach this awareness. The only way that I'm ever going to reach that dog is to be more quiet and gentle than her fear is loud. Right, Christy? So you know that psychopathic motherfucker you married? You know that crazy nutcase, batshit, wild ass, out of control bitch that's your mom? You guys know I don't mean any of that. But I do, in our humanness. You know that jerk, fucking narcissistic boss? You know those bullies? What if they're just cells in your body? First of all, how bad do you want to hurt them now? What if they're literally terrified beyond what you can imagine because you're in denial of how terrified you are? Are you ever going to get big enough and strong enough and powerful enough and loud enough to finally make them stop feeling scared? Will you become threatening enough that you finally make them stop doing the things they do when they're scared? Does anybody understand the convoluted Mobius strip of a question that I'm asking right now? Are you going to become intimidating enough and big enough and bad enough? Are you going to get a big enough stick or a big enough gun or complain and bitch loud enough on social fucking media about it that you help them to feel safe enough to stop the attack? So what if then you imagine something I've talked about before, and I will move to wrap up with this. Imagine that you went on a dark and stormy night. All the electricity just went out. Fortunately, you had some warm water in the tub. You're about to take a bath. You had some warm water on the stove to make some tea if you want. You just happen to have bought some fragrance-free, non-toxic, organic soy and coconut candles, so you don't have to breathe poisons from petroleum-based shit in your house. And you kind of set up, and then the power goes out, and it's night, and it's a storm, and it's raining, and suddenly you hear a ring at the doorbell, and you go to the doorbell, and there's nobody there. Lightning hits, boom, a tree falls on your car. Well, guess I'm not driving anywhere tonight. And as you look out the front door after the doorbell rang, no one's there. There's a baby laying there in a little basket. And it starts to cry. And you go, whoa, Electricity just went out. Phone battery's dead. I can't call anybody. I can't talk to anybody. I can't drive anywhere. And this storm's building up. I'm not going to walk anywhere carrying this baby. It looks like I'm alone with this baby for the night. Find out tomorrow whose it is. As you carry it in, though, it starts to cry. And as you look, somehow you get the weird realization because you saw some baby pictures of yourself. And you realize this baby is actually you. Somehow there was a glitch in the matrix and a baby you just got left on your fucking doorstep and you're there by yourself and there's no way to get rid of that little fucker. Tonight, at least. How weird is this? A little baby me, and the baby starts crying. Now, as you look, somebody carefully, kindly, maybe it was you, left a few bottles of warm breast milk in the bottles, like in this perfect little thing. Like, how'd that happen? And fresh diapers. Like, you got everything you need to get through the night. But the baby's crying. And the baby won't stop crying. And the little baby's you. Would you grab the baby by the leg and slam it against the wall as hard as you can to try to make it stop? I asked that on purpose. You wouldn't, would you? Why you been doing it to yourself? Would you find out if you have enough skills to drop kick the baby? Just drop it, and kick it, and make it land on your bed. You wouldn't. Would you try to drown the little fucker? Hell, you got a bathtub full of warm water right there. You just drown it. The crying would stop just like you wouldn't do that, would you? Would you see what sharp object? Where do I poke this fucker with a big sharp object that'll make it stop crying the fastest? Would you do that? Then why have you been doing it to yourself? Would you hand it a bottle of whiskey? Here, maybe this will make it shut the fuck up. Maybe put it down in front of a movie. You wouldn't do any of those things that you've been doing to yourself. What would you do? Let me tell you what you would do. You ready? Check in. You would check to see, first of all, does it have a crappy diaper? Is it hurting? Is there any wounds anywhere on this baby? Number two, once there's no blood, no obvious damage, is it hungry? Not hungry. So what's going on? I'm going to make a guess that if your heart was there and you were breathing and you were present, I'm going to guess that the moments would pass and you would find yourself pulling it up to your heart and hugging it and calming yourself down to calm it down. Because your only other option is to beat it into silence, which you are big enough and strong enough to do. Let's be honest. And that's what our parents did with us on more than one occasion when we were crying our deepest pain. They shut us the fuck up. And we've been doing it to ourselves ever since, completely unknowingly. So here's what this long drawn out story question thing is. Like, if you were to find a wounded you or a scared, sad, crying you would find out what it needed, and it would lead to you probably laying it on your chest and breathing deep and calming down so you could help it calm down so that it could stop crying and come to peace. And you've never once considered doing that for yourself. All of your efforts to shake it or hit it or scream at it would only make it cry worse and feel more terrified. Do you agree? But look what you've been doing to yourself and to all the other people around you who are all little pink babies crying in terror and trying to act like they're not. Tina, you're in Scotland, right? I thought so. So I was in Scotland a few years ago. Crazy motherfuckers in Scotland. What is wrong with those people? I mean, those people are psychopathic. They're as repressed and fucked up as the English. Okay? They can't have fucking sex. They can't fuck. Everything's fucked up. Everything's repressed. Everything's crazy as fuck. Kind of like China. It's fucking Chinese people. Okay? Like every culture, every place that you go, the people have their own twist. I was just fucking with you, but it's also true, Tina. Everybody is repressed and confused and twisted into what's the appropriate means of crazy for their country. Belgians do it different than the French. Does it different than fucking Polish weirdos. Jesus Christ. So everybody's got their brand of crazy, and then it just becomes homogenized. Well, that's how we do it here. But Scotland's waiting for one or two people over there to say, I love you so much, I don't give a shit what you think. I'm going to wake up and stand up. And some of you will love it and be drawn, and some of you will fear it and run away thinking you hate me. I don't care. How do you get to there from the baby? You'll see. So what if our mantra became, I love you so much, I don't give a damn what you think. I love me so much, I don't give a damn what you think. I love us both so much, I don't give a damn what either one of us think. And then we simply choose presence and calming ourselves down so calmly that we're no longer worried about what they're going to think. And we begin to feel our emotions. And we drink enough water that presence and that air begins to bring those emotions up. And we rinse them out and we breathe them out. And we put the highest consciousness enhancing love and nutrition into those cells where the old yuck just came out of. And we stand a little bit taller, breathing a little bit deeper every day, bitching a little bit less, complaining, venting a little bit less, choosing love a little bit more, becoming so soft and so gentle and kind to ourselves that we don't feel threatened by ourselves anymore. And then we can be that gentle and calm with others, and they start to feel like they're not freaking out anymore, and that they can actually be themselves around us. And we heal the planet and the galaxy by returning to wholeness ourselves. You won't do that if you don't breathe enough. You knew who I was talking to. Yes, you did. You. Anybody digging this program so far besides me? I'm digging this shit. I say yes to this. More of this, more of this. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Inner word, kindness, arising from presence, which is our nature. That kindness is our nature when we're present. All these fuckers dropping bombs on each other and spraying poison, they're sleepwalking. You don't do that when you feel safe. And we're not going to undo it by intimidating them or getting enough of us on one side of the wall that we fight against those on the other side of the wall. Enough signatures. So I think that's quite enough. I would dare say, as I often do, that anybody who gets everything there is in this orientation session, you just got way more than you paid for the whole program. If you let yourself get it, you're always welcome to pay more. I don't mind. People often do. Blows my freaking mind. I love it. I'm going to close with something that I don't think that I've ever done in a program. I don't think I have. And I just like literally got a feeling this, you can tell that this program is already more magical than what you've done so far. And that means you created this because you're ready for this now. And if this was orientation, can you imagine the sessions? I mean, you haven't even got everything out of orientation. You watch this a few times and breathe deep. You know, remember that breathing thing? So you can do what I'm about to suggest. You can do it in pure conscience and high love. This program is going to be the most mind-blowing, heart-opening, life-changing course I've ever done, for sure. It already is. And I definitely want to share it with people. And so I'm not going to ask anyone to do it. I'm going to invite you to do something. Check your heart, check your gut, check your feelings, and feel into inviting some people to this program and saying, I would really love to do this with you, and I would really love to be able to communicate with you as we're going through it. Like, this is going to be the shit that you've been looking for. I know you, and I know you've been looking for this. I know you have. And don't worry about explaining it, because if you speak from your heart, they're going to hear. You don't have to explain everything. And of course, in the Go Beyond the Law of Attraction group, there's the video where I explain what this is going to be in a really simple way, and pay what you can. So you can let that video explain it. I really feel there's some people that you know, Rosemary. There's absolutely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, there's somebody you know, Carmen. Raina, there's 2 or 3 people that you know right now that if they knew this existed and they knew what this is and what it was about to be, they would jump out of their skin to join us. And it's going to support you, Esther, to have someone that you're close to, that you like, that you could be playing with between sessions, that you could be discussing this with. And if we set the intention right now, every single person who comes in and dances and plays with us here is going to be reflecting this light into their family and their workplace and their world. I don't think I've ever made that invitation in any program I've been in. I really feel it today. So there you have it. Could there be anything in there that's self-serving for me? Of course. What the hell's wrong with that? I will be over-delivering every session like I always do. And there is some magic ahead because it's already in you, ready to come out. Set your intention for the entire course. Feel while you're watching the replay. Get ready to hit pause and then spend a minute or two, invest a moment or two, feeling what's going to be different when I finish the last session in this course. And how am I going to feel different when this course is done? What will be the biggest single change in my life that I want the most? How will I feel having it? So thanks for showing up. Thanks for joining. I just want to remind you that I am you, you're me, we're one. There's nothing wrong with you. There never was. There can't be anything wrong with you. There's nothing right about you either, but that doesn't mean anything because there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing good about you. There's nothing bad about you. That's, man, you've been dancing that shit while trying to be spiritual. You've been dancing that shit all along. But there's nothing good about you. There's nothing wrong about you. There's nothing bad about you. You are exactly what you are, absolutely perfect. You've been very confused, battling against the reflections that kept showing up, not knowing that they were you, but secretly knowing it was you and fighting against it instead of getting quiet and hugging the baby so that you can find your peace again and begin to create what you actually want to experience and have it show up reflecting in front of you. And so you set me up to remind you, and I'm cool with that. Aloha. I will see the comments in here. Every week, I will always, as quickly as I can do so conveniently, I will always convert this and upload it. I will upload the sessions as independent sessions so that everybody can comment underneath, and there will be a YouTube playlist at the bottom of that announcement post. It's going to magically appear when I make it today. And then every week I'll add each session to it. So you'll have the YouTube playlist with all the sessions. I recommend that you generally watch the sessions in the post. You'll see a post in our group with that, and that's where you want to comment so that we can keep the conversation about that specific session. You got it? See you next week.